level.
Yeah.
But if you say the consciousness, if you experience that as I understand it, because in one way I don't understand it, because what I understand, which I don't understand, it has no form, it has no qualities, it has nothing. Because as soon as it has its form, a quality, it's not that.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you experience that, and you get the taste of it, or feeling of it, the intuition of it, there is a desire to dive deeper into it, to absorb more into it, and less identify yourself with this body. And the question is how you accelerate that process.
That's what we always like on the human level, isn't it? Yeah. I think it's impossible. Like this, it's a daydream, like this idea of acceleration. It's a nice daydream, but I think that that's impossible to accelerate it or to slow it down. But I mean, that's good news, because if you think about it, then it's also impossible to slow it down. So that's quite a relief.
I can't leave this meeting and go to a bar and drink a whiskey.
If you like to, but I doubt you will.
No, I wouldn't.
Like, yeah, I think accelerating it or slowing it down is an impossibility. I think that life happens as it happens. We can speak in human terms, so I could give you things on the human level which I think would be helpful for you, but I can't guarantee that will create energetic awakening or help the non-dual realization. It's saying we can do things. So if you look at non-duality, like I can, on the human level, I can teach you how to bake a cake. I'm not very good at baking cakes, but I can teach you how to do that. And it seems like I am teaching you that I have free will and that you've got free will and that you follow me as an instructor and trust that I can teach you how to bake a cake. I can also teach you how to run a marathon maybe, or ride a bike. I can teach you maybe how to philosophy or economics, or I don't know if I know enough about economics. Some certain things I could teach you. And it seems like there's free will. So it seems like I say crack 2 eggs in there, and then you're like, you crack 2 eggs in there, and then you stir it. And it seems like you're choosing to do that. So a thought appears and goes, I'm choosing to crack the eggs to follow her instructions. I could go with, what's her name, Delia Smith? I don't know, another famous, but I'm going with Lisa Cairns on the cooking. And I could go with someone else, but I've chosen her. And that gives you the appearance of free will and choice. Actually, free will and choice is just about assessing the options and picking the best possible option, but it doesn't actually imply there is free will or choice, because where does that free will or choice come from? In the moment, you have a voice speaking about the options, and then you have an urge to follow one, but who writes that in? Who's like down there writing it in? We say it's us, but actually it comes from a really mysterious place. We don't know where the choice to go and drink a whiskey instead of coming here comes from. We don't know where these choices arise from. We're always feeling guilty about the choices we've made in our life, but we don't know how they formed. We can see a pattern, and by understanding the pattern there can be a redirection, but it's still not your choice to redirect it. It's something that's happening. There's either the urge to do it or not. It's unknowable where our thoughts and feelings come from. Just because we see the talking about choice, I'm going to choose a banana over an apple, just because we hear these voices doesn't actually mean that that machine is choosing. Like when you really deeply look at it, you realise that life is simply happening in every moment. But on the human level, I can teach you wise things about being human, because I used to be a little cuckoo. Well, actually, I am still cuckoo, but I used to be more cuckoo, and I managed to satisfy a certain level of emotional and psychological issues. There's still some running, but I learned a lot of things in this process and a lot of ways in which to work with myself, and I share it with other people, and they like it, and it seems to help them. And it's very easy. What I teach is on the human level is working out the chakras and understanding the chakras and what the body's saying and listening more to the body. But this is all on the human level, and it's not your doing. And so the acceleration question is on the human level, but yet there is something watching that. There's something that hears me right now and knows this and knows this whole room. There's something that knows this wall that's got nothing to do with your acceleration or your process or your mental capacity or your psychological makeup. There's something that knows the sound of my voice in this instant, beyond memory, beyond understanding. There's something that knows this floor beyond labelling it floor, or the colour of these pants beyond labelling it pink and blue. It knows it instantly, right here, without any time. And it's not divided. It's not inside there or outside. It's not located. It's free. And that can't be accelerated to because it's already here. And that's totally frustrating for the person when the person thinks about it. But then on the human level, what I'd recommend when you feel frustration about this is I would go to then your psychological makeup. And I would go to the chakras. So that frustration will come from the solar plexus, and it's simply frustration. And it will remind you of past frustration. So your inability to capture non-duality will create frustration in the body. I'm not saying that's true for you, but just in general, I don't know inside your body, but it predominantly would create a sense of frustration. And then you just identify that. You're like, it reminds me of being at school when people wouldn't listen to me, or my relationship with my mum, like I'm having a past condition come up, and it's frustrating. And what your mind does is your mind thinks, well, I'm going to find the result in understanding, capturing and accelerating to non-duality, whereas actually all you need to do is allow that feeling to manifest, to be really frustrated, and then it will pass. And then you're here. Our problem is we're always trying to solve our emotional issues and conditions in time, whereas predominantly it's just about allowing them to be there and identifying when something is trying to help you and fix things in time, and when something is just sparking an old memory or an old fear or an old neurosis or an old trauma, and just allowing that to come up and pass, and then not latching onto time to try and find a solution. So most of us, we listen to non-duality and we think this is the new solution, but it can't be the new solution because non-duality isn't a solution or not a solution. It's not in that world. It's that which is experiencing the thinker that's saying it's a new solution. It's free. Your essence is free. So it's just seeing that there is a fear coming up, a fear of your existence, a fear that you don't have solution. That's most probably sacral. It's most probably existential fear. And it's just noticing that and seeing it will pass. Mostly what we're doing is that we have this craving. So in the Buddhists, it's like we're always craving for pleasure and trying to avoid pain. So an uncomfortable feeling arises in the sacral chakra, and then we crave to satisfy it in the timeline. And it's just allowing it to be what it is. Just here, as it is. It's uncomfortable. Life can be uncomfortable on the human level. Like if you think about it logically, I know that this is mostly coming to the end of this talk, because I've been talking a lot. I told you I could talk, triple Gemini. But if you think of it on the human level, why would we experience 100% pleasure and no pain? Like on the human level, we are set up to move towards pleasure and away from pain. So we have to roughly be experiencing 50% pleasure, 50% pain in order to orientate this world. It's completely impersonal, but that's the way we're set up. But we're evolved to move towards that which makes us feel good and away from that which makes us feel bad. And our body is constantly determining that. So if you don't like something, you tend to move away from it. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's totally ordinary, and it's the way we're set up. But we get so deluded in our brain that we think that we've got to have 100% pleasure all the time, and if we don't, everybody else is having a better life than us and there's something wrong with us. Where it's really practical that we feel 50-50. The suffering comes when you always believe that you've always got to experience pleasure and get rid of pain, and you're always scared and running from pain. Pain is simply an indicator that's saying, not this, not that way. It's like a signpost. It's like we've got to make friends again with this pain and pleasure thing, and get over this idea that we've always got to be happy and excited and like full of love. It's not that it's unrealistic. It's just it's not the way we're designed, and you're not listening to your natural flow. Your natural flow is in the body. Like our mind updates us and gives us information, but our natural flow is in the body, and it's orientating it. And if you ignore the pain side, then more than likely you're going to end up in quite painful situations. But we get confused by pain and pleasure because we have this belief that we've always got to experience pleasure and there's something wrong with us if we don't. And then this creates what Buddhists call craving, this constant suffering. Whereas Khaleesi, my dog, when she experiences pain. Like at the moment, I'm sure she's heartbroken and crying and really sad that Lisa is away from her, which is an absolute lie. She couldn't care less. She's got my mum who gives her pate. She's like, woohoo! I've gone up in the world. Actually, she gets pate from me now too. I realised how much she liked it. Yeah. So, but she does experience pain. I witness it. Like my mum's just got a new dog, and it's a boy dog, and she hates it, and she's not happy. She's like, I am the number one, and now she's been demoted. She's not allowed in the kitchen area. She has to stay in the garden. She's a bit unhappy, and I'm sure that's painful. She sees it, and there's jealousy that arises, there's pain that arises in that situation. But the great thing about Khaleesi is she can't think that I own the pain or I own the jealousy. So it's life that holds it. It's pain. It comes up. And then when she looks and sees the pigeon flying or the squirrel running the garden, then she's onto that. And that's how we should be, is this constant flow. But the human gets stuck because it's always trying to hold on to pleasure and get away from pain and itself. But I can feel, without even looking at the time, what we're getting to maximum amount of time of talking. You can begin to feel it in the room. The room's like... There's so much people can take. But if you want to come again, I do it again for the next 2 days. I think on the 4th day I will just do a meditation. It's like really early, it's like 7 a.m. Who wants to listen to this at 7 a.m? So I just do a meditation, like a gentle non-dual meditation at 7 a.m. But tomorrow and Tuesday I will do some more like this. You're very welcome. So thank you very much, and if I don't see you again, enjoy the rest of the festival.
Thank you.